What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today I want to chat about Japanese from Zero, and I just finished book 2. I wanted to do just kind of a little bit of an kind of a review type of situation on that. I know a lot of people do reviews of Japanese from Zero, but I feel like there's a lack of longevity in the reviews because it's always a review of book 1, and then I never see anything talking about it again. So I have a couple of notes. You know, I don't like to script things, but I did jot down like 5 or 6 tiny little things to at least go over. Maybe 3. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about Japanese from Zero, maybe show you guys a little bit. I don't want to show too much because this is a paid course. It's $9.99 a month, and it seems to have everything that the book has. But anyway, I wanted to review it, talk about where I'm at after 2 months. After 2 books, just kind of going over it and what that's all about. First and foremost, if you're looking for a quick fix on fluency to Japanese, this is not it. And I say that not because it's not a great program, but because there's not a fast track fluency to Japanese. So if you're looking to see if you're going to be fluent after 2 books, no. And that's even coming from someone who has a pretty expansive history of studying Japanese. So no, you're not going to be there. But I do like a lot of what this book does. I think that it does some really, really cool stuff. So first and foremost, here is the website. And I am going to get into the book, but I'll show you just a little bit of this website. You got your homeroom. I'm just starting course 3, which is great. Up here on top, you've got, homeroom courses, notebook, which I used for like half a second, and then I just didn't because I'm using this for kind of a different purpose, which I'll get into in just a minute. Here are the books, so you can still buy them. If you're more so serious about study, I would recommend... why not buy the books and do that? I don't know if everything from the books are on the website, but I'm sure that just reading over some stuff could probably help. Video Vault has all kinds of stuff, which you can find on the Japanese from Zero website. Ask a Teacher, which is cool. Obviously, if you're having different things, maybe somebody is having, Te versus Ta form. If you don't understand that, click that. Here's somebody on book 5, lesson 5, verb usage. So... and whatnot. Now, also, you'll see here, it does say voices misread. This is a beta. This is not in full launch yet. You can sign up for it and use it. Like, I'm not special or anything. You can sign up and use it. But also understand that part of it is a beta. They have a Discord server, and when you go in there, there's a part that has Japanese from Zero beta, and you can troubleshoot things and stuff like that. And that's also kind of what I'm doing. I figured being a little bit more advanced in Japanese, and by a little bit, I mean a little bit, like a tiny bit. I'm not advanced, but I've studied Japanese long enough to kind of understand some different things. So I figured I'll go and look over some stuff and whatnot. So they have badges and stuff if you're into that kind of thing to make it quote unquote fun, and I don't want to say gamify, but let's stay motivated and stuff. So, all right, let's get into what the books have. They do have, all of the Japanese from Zero books. They do have the Kansai dialect on here. I don't know if they'll eventually put kanji from Zero on here, but Japanese from Zero 3 starts teaching kanji. But that's a whole different thing. So let's start at book 1. And it goes over some stuff. Now, first and foremost, which I will say 100 times, I've been criticized for how much I say the same words over and over and over. But first and foremost, this is it is progressive learning. So this heart up here on the top right hand side, I think you can see that. Let me check. Yeah, because it's like the little tiny part of a black circle you see is like my avatar. Like just the ratio of the screen on OBS is kind of weird sometimes. The heart at the top right, it's right beside games. When you're doing a lesson, I'll go into it in a second, you can actually have it progressive or kanji mode or I think even romaji. I'll show you in just a second. But the books teach hiragana and katakana throughout books 1 and 2. Book 1 teaches hiragana. Each lesson you learn 5, and then the words will be replaced with that. And book 2 does katakana, so you learn them that way. It's a progressive way of learning. If you're not worried about learning it very, very quickly, just do it that way. I kind of crammed hiragana and katakana like religiously for a few days, and then I was more so fine on hiragana. I still struggle with katakana sometimes, just being honest. So, but here's the stuff that's in the first one. I'll go over what's in it, and then just talk about some things, maybe show a little bit. But so pronunciation guide and the basics. Basic counting, first meeting, so like your proper greetings and stuff. coming and going and typing in Japanese. So you had to set up a Japanese keyboard and whatnot. And that is that. Creating simple sentences, working with a topic, possession, colors, and adjectives. He actually has a lot of the explanations on like na versus e adjectives are really, really good. Likes versus dislikes, wanting and not wanting something, locations, date and past tense, days, weeks, and year, asking for things, counting objects, Japanese verbs, and telling time, which telling time, any kind of time related stuff is always my least favorite part of learning a language. But so the first book is there was nothing new here for me. I went through everything. These are quizzes. Also, the two yellow ones, I missed one question on. I don't even remember what they were, but I was like, oh, I'll go back and do those. But I just haven't because I'm not overly concerned about it. But I like. I still liked it. I still liked going through it, and even as somebody who knew a lot of this stuff, going back and just kind of refreshing my mind on the basics, I thought was really good. So just to go into one here, actually, you know what? I'm not going to go into lesson 5 because that's after you get the first 4 lessons free, and I'm not trying to take advantage of anything. So here's the way that a general lesson will look. So you've got new words, new phrases, culture clip, grammar, Q&A E through J, Q&A J through E. Like it's just two different ways of Q&A. Q&A's reading comprehension, hiragana. So this is where it teaches you the new hiragana for the lesson quiz, and then like vocabulary group, for example, will be like just things around the house. So kapu, spoon, foku, and then of course it goes asara. I have mine on kanji because I don't need progressive, but just to show you, is it here? Here we go. So you can have it romanji, which I would not do. Progressive is where the hiragana that you know shows up to this point. So you've learned at this point o and sa. You haven't learned ra. So it's just a way to progressively learn hiragana. Then you've got just full on furigana, and then there's the last one where it's just the kanji the way it would naturally be. With furigana as well, so like chawan or whatever. So that's the way that is set up. I keep mine on kanji just because it's just what I'm comfortable with. Not that I'm not saying I know kanji, but it's just let me go back to the book here. It's just the way that I like to do things. So that is that. Like I said, there's not a whole lot here for anybody who has studied Japanese for a little bit, but it was a good refresher because again, I mean, I struggle with, not that struggle with, but it's just after you don't see something for a long time, you may kind of go back and forget stuff. So grammar, they have all the videos that have been filmed up to that point linked. These are directly from the YouTube channel. You can watch. They'll have different notes here about things. Obviously, you can read through and stuff. This is part of the. I'm not going to show a lot because again, this is after it gets to the point of being like where it's part of a paid course. But iku, like, so it gives you the verb type, regular, irregular, the hiragana chart, just all kinds of stuff. Verb types, talks about how to convert things and stuff to specifically, when you're doing that. And it goes into a lot more detail on stuff like that. So book 1, I really liked. Again, a nice refresher. Book 2, same thing, goes over, has pronunciation guide and basics. Existence verbs, iru aru, location words, singling out items, counting living things, verbs that use o, the masho verb stem, Japanese family structure, past tense adjectives, informal verbs, connecting with because. This is one of the best lessons because, funny enough, I just said because, but I struggle a lot with because. I struggle with kata a whole lot. And this lesson really helped me. It just helped me a whole lot. The pseudo verbs also is really good. He has a really good breakdown of that stuff. And again, these videos are for free on his YouTube channel, but there's a lot more content within this that really kind of goes through and explains. Now, I know that the immersion community probably, a lot of people might not like this because they're just like, well, just retake him. You don't need to go through. But I'm the type of person where if you explain it to me just a little bit further in depth and it's someone explaining it to me, not necessarily a teacher in a classroom type of setting, but if somebody's just like, oh, this, like for example, with connecting with because lesson 10, I was struggling with it because it's the reason and then because and then the situation. So I didn't go to the movies because I don't have any money. You literally say I didn't have any money because I didn't go to the movies, and that's the way that it's set up. But the way that George was explaining it, and part of it was just kind of, if you look at it almost like a so sometimes, and this isn't exact, but like, so instead of trying to remember kata, and as you're thinking about things and taking it in, you can almost take that as like, I didn't have any money, so I didn't go to the movies. And it's kind of the same concept. And just kind of wrapping your head around these grammatical patterns, it really, really helped in my opinion. So that is what all of lessons 1 and 2 has. I'll start lesson 3. I'm going to go through it, which gets into, I haven't started it yet because it's right into counting time spans, and I'm not a big fan of that. So, but anyway, so why I'm using Japanese from zero is quite simple. I also use the Tokini Andy website, but this is for the sake of the video. We're just going to say Japanese from zero because that's what I'm talking about here. I like this because of the explanations. I'm a big fan, again, like I said, of having people explain things to me, but not so overbearing that it almost gets muddied down and convoluted. Like, just kind of a, hey, this is what's going on, and it's enough for me to say, oh, okay, and then just kind of move on. And also, the reason I started using this website versus I have the first book, but the reason I started using the website versus the book is because it's a lot harder to self-study for me doing a book. Like, it's just very boring to me. And I don't want to study a majority of the time. Like, I don't want to spend a ton of time studying. I want to spend a ton of time within the language of Japanese. And so that's what I did. I can go through a lesson on this, over the course of maybe 30 or 45 minutes, maybe shorter than that, maybe longer than that, depending on the content, obviously. And then I can spend the rest of my time on Anki or immersing with stuff or whatever the case may be. So I really like the way that this course feels. It goes by really, really quick, and George is a great teacher. And I don't know, I just like, I like it. I just like the way it is. Let me see, what else do I got here? The vocabulary on here is really good. I personally don't use it, because it's teaching words in isolation. There are Anki decks that you can find online that people have made. I don't specifically use them because I'm not using this for vocabulary. I'll listen to the vocabulary in the lesson just because you click play all and it'll play all of them, and I'll listen and see what I know and not, and then I might go back through and look through the word list, and if there's something like extra spicy that catches my attention, then sure, I might take a glance at it. But other than that, I generally don't. I'm specifically using this in a take-him fashion where just letting the vocabulary wash over me, the grammar wash over me, and then moving on. That's why I never went back and took those quizzes, because I was like, I don't really care. I'll just be fine with where I'm at and whatever. So, yeah, I think that the teaching is really, really good. Sometimes, and this is one of the things, it's not really a thing that I don't like, but I like it, but I also don't. George will give a lot of like cultural tips sometimes, and then sometimes he'll get kind of sidetracked in these lessons, in the videos, and they're on YouTube, and they're like 5 years old, so it's not like you can go back and change them, but like he'll get a little sidetracked and talk about stuff. So a lesson, it might be a 20-minute video on YouTube, could have been condensed into like 10 minutes. But at the same time, a lot of his stories are very, very fun. It's a little bit of an insight to Japan, which is probably what a lot of us are here for anyway. And so it kind of breaks up the study, and it's almost like a form of time boxing within itself, because you're like, oh, okay, let's learn about kata. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Now he's telling a story about a Japanese vending machine. So it's like, it kind of breaks that up and makes it, I don't know. It is almost like a time boxing thing within the video. But, again, I don't not like it. But sometimes I'm like, I could get through this lesson a little bit faster. But at the same time, I mean, what is faster? Let's get through it faster so I can get into more stuff, I guess. But meh. I mean, Japanese isn't going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, well, you hope anyway. So it's like, I mean, whatever. Let's just have fun with the journey. I think that these two books, and I'll do a review of lesson 3 when I finish it, and 4 and 5, and I don't know when that's going to be because, again, my main focus isn't that. That's why I think that you could study with this, like a long period of time throughout the day, refreshing vocabulary, going over the little sessions, especially in the books. I think they have like dialogue sessions where you're supposed to answer each other, which are kind of like in the Q&A thing in the lessons, but like you could probably do a lot. But again, for me, I don't know how much of it is accurate or not accurate, but I don't know how much of the vocabulary is useful to this type of stuff I'm watching. So therefore I figure I just want to understand the grammar and understand enough words to be able to see the sample sentences or whatever using the grammar. But outside of that, I'm not worried about learning the word for like ottoman or I'm just looking around my house, soccer bopper. My son got some of those for Christmas, or board game, because like it's if it's something that I need, I'll see it when I'm watching stuff. Unless it's something easy, like if it's a word in katakana, then it is what it is, right? Like you just kind of almost learn it as soon as you read it the first time. But yeah, I just spend just a little bit of time, and that's what I love about this is. It introduces to the grammar. It's the whole washover concept that people always talk about with Take Him, like, oh, just read it, and that's enough to kind of just at least get it in your mind, and then you'll see it. And this actually happened to me when he was going over using, I think it was the wo particle. So, like, if you're saying, like, I studied, like, Nihongo o Benkyo Suru, and then he talks about how you don't even always have to have wo there, but then also he was talking about how a lot of people will think, if some from where Benkyo Osuru is the verb, like it's like a noun, I don't know, a noun verb. I literally know nothing about grammatical terms, but like I understand it. I just can't really speak the concepts behind it. But like he talks about how some people will think that they also put an o, but like for example, if you're saying you study Japanese, a lot of people will think that they say Nihongo o Benkyo o shimasu, and like I was like, oh yeah, I could see people thinking that, but I know that you don't. And like it's just an example of how just letting grammar kind of go over you. Like I learned the concept of that without actually knowing that I learned that. I just instinctively knew because of how much Japanese I've exposed myself to that yeah, you don't use two wo particles when you're putting that together. Like it's just something that you instinctively learned. And so so the lessons in themselves have kind of awakened me even more so and let me know that what I'm doing is the right thing. I'm just letting the grammar just kind of gloss over me and go from there. So, as far as this versus anything, I like these are set up, I feel, more so beginner friendly than what Genki is. I feel like Genki can feel like it's all over the place. Fortunately, Tokini Andy does an incredible job teaching it. But I feel like a lot of the concepts in this are taught at a much easier to understand level. Just Genki will be like, oh, here's an N5 concept. Oh, here's an N3 concept. Oh, here's another N5. Oh, this literally doesn't even exist. Sorry. Like, I feel like it can be all over the place sometimes. So this is just, if you're a beginner getting into things, it's good. And honestly, if you're a little bit more advanced, but you're struggling with grammar, maybe an idea to just go through and just, oh yeah, okay, let's just kind of refresh where we're at. So anyway, I will ramble forever if I don't stop. I think that pretty much covers it. I think it's good. I really do. I know that's, there's a lot of, oh, well, you shouldn't spend as much time studying as this, that, or the other. If you like to study and you like to have stuff explained to you just a little bit more than just reading Take Him for yourself, because my reading comprehension, I'm not even going to lie, like, I don't think my reading comprehension is great. Like, I can read stuff, but sometimes I feel like I'll have to read stuff like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times to understand what's going on. And George, the way that he teaches it on this course is just really good, and it's helped me a lot versus reading the same chapter of, Take Him 90 times. So there should be somebody on YouTube that teaches Take Him like Andy does Genki. That's something that needs to happen. But anyway, I would recommend it. Like I said, if you're a beginner, for sure, like absolutely, especially just the hurdles of hiragana and katakana. And then I also think that if you are not necessarily fluent, but like if you're struggling with grammar, just kind of go through, man. There might be a little nugget of wisdom in one of those lessons that just really kind of opens your eyes, like it did with me. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend this. So it's from zero.com. You can check that out. But that is the review of book 1 and 2. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I don't even know if anybody's going to be here at 19 minutes in, but if you have any questions, let me know down below, and I'll try to answer them. I try to think of anything. I tweeted asking if anybody had any questions, and no one answered, so I just went from there. But that is all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and as soon as I finish course 3, I will update that as well. So thanks, and I'll see you guys in the next one.